Lesson 6, Daniel in the Lion's Den. Daniel chapter 6, verses 1 to 28, and chapter 9, verses 1 to 19. Darius appoints Daniel to be chief of the rulers. The new king in Babylon was Darius the Mede, appointed by the great Persian king Cyrus after the fall of Babylon. It all happened as Daniel had prophesied it would many years before. When the new King Darius took over the government, he changed cabinet members. Darius appointed 120 men to oversee the 120 provinces of his realm. He now needed three faithful and able men to be presidents over the 120 to see that they ruled faithfully. He chose Daniel to be one of his three presidents. He had heard of Daniel's great service to King Nebuchadnezzar many years before. He appointed Daniel to be the chief of the three presidents. King Darius recognized that an excellent spirit was in Daniel. Daniel was just, honest, upright, and submissive to his king and the laws of the land, and could be counted on for loyalty, wisdom, and good advice. Whatever Daniel did, he did it with all his heart, for he knew that in serving those whom God had placed over him, he was serving God. The jealous officials plot against Daniel. When the two other presidents learned that Daniel had been put over them, they became very jealous of Daniel. They talked together and wondered why this older Jewish man should be put over them. He had come to Babylon years before as a captive from Israel, and he certainly did not deserve to be the chief of the three presidents, they reasoned. So filled with the emotions of envy, these men began to plot against Daniel. If only they could find something wrong with his life or his service, some dishonesty, some bribery, some unfaithfulness, then they could persuade the king to get rid of him. Envy or jealousy is a vicious monster that tortures and makes people unhappy, spiteful, and cruel. Notice how unhappy you are when you become jealous of a brother or sister or classmate who has something that you do not have or does something that you cannot do. We need to ask God to keep the monster of jealousy away from us and instead give us a love for those around us. When we truly love someone, we are happy when that person achieves something, and therefore envy must run away and hide. These men did not know God, and their pagan gods had nothing to offer them that would drive away the monster of envy. So they kept looking for ways to get back at Daniel for his promotion. But try as they would, they could find no fault with Daniel. The jealous men thought and thought how to get rid of Daniel. I know, said one of them at last. We can accuse him of something concerning his religion. Everyone knows that Daniel has never worshipped the gods of Babylon nor the gods of Medo Persia. He only worships his Jewish God, and he is meticulously faithful in his devotion to his God. The two jealous presidents talked with some of the governors and princes, and together they made a plan. They would go to King Darius and flatter him into making a law of the Medes and the Persians that nobody could pray to any god or any man but him for 30 days, and that all requests must be directed to the king for 30 days. If anyone prayed or asked anything of anyone or of any god for 30 days, they would be thrown into a den of lions. These leaders knew Daniel well enough. They knew him well enough to know that he would never stop praying to his God, and thus, in this way, they would be rid of him forever. The jealous men go to the king. The two presidents and several princes came hurriedly before the king with their strange request. King Darius, live forever! Their spokesman said. All of the presidents, governors, princes, counselors, and captains have consulted together. This was a lie. Of course, it's a lie. All of the leaders had not consulted together. They had omitted Daniel, the chief of the presidents. All of us have consulted together, the lying leaders continued, and we would like for you to make a law stating that any man who prays to any god or man except you, O king, should be thrown into the den of the lions. The king was flattered. His chief men were indeed loyal to him. The law would make him great in the eyes of all his people, and he liked that idea very much. Their flattery kept him from asking if all the presidents, governors, and leaders had agreed to this, and thus he did not even consider Daniel. Now, O king, to establish this wonderful law, you need to sign it so that it cannot be changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, the plotting politician said. The Medes and Persians had a strong belief that once a law was signed by the king, even he did not have the power to change the law. King Darius was pleased with the new law. It would exalt him in the eyes of the people and make his position as king honored and secure. Darius happily signed the decree, making it into a law that could not be changed.